Cleric is one of the most rewarding classes to play in D&D. It's got it all. Heals, maces, religious trauma, all the things that make you the party favorite. And I'm here to tell you why you should play Cleric, which Cleric you should play, and of course it wouldn't be a Willowwares video without a tasty, creepy, free item for your enjoyment at the end. So let's get into it. Many mortals claim to speak for the gods, but few can marshal the power of those gods the way a cleric can. If that doesn't drum up 1,000 different backstories for a character in your head right away, I don't know what can, honestly. Clerics are an incredibly versatile class, allowing you to choose between a few different paths mechanically, like healer, DPS, or therapist, depending on what your party needs. They are full casters, so you get those crazy 9th level spells, but you can also hit stuff with your mace really hard, depending on your build. That might seem like not a big deal to you, and you'd be wrong. Let me put it this way. This current version of D&D is very loose in regards to assigning certain classes to roles like tank, DPS, etc. The reasoning behind this is an entire video's worth of discussion, so just trust me on this point. Or not, you know. I'm very suspicious. However, it does indeed have some hard stops. For example, you'll have a difficult time justifying a rogue being your tank, or say insisting your barbarian sits on the backline behind your wizard, trying to heal the party from there. There are builds, of course, to get around this, particularly when you involve multiclassing, but the spirit of these classes only have so much bend. Clerics, there's a lot less limits here. You're Neo if he believed in himself, and also the goddess Umberly, otherwise known as the queen. You should beep out. Editor, beep out. We can't say it. We can't say it. Your spell list, even within your base class, has so much variation, so much utility, that you can build a Bara type of character based on that alone. And as we see when we go through these subclasses, you get even more variation and well-roundedness to become one of the most polished, well-rounded classes in D&D. Neo, if he was a magic 8-ball that still believes in Umberly and is perfectly round. Finally, if you glance at the subclass descriptions of this class, you'll be pleased to see that they are incredibly concise. And that's the other beauty of the Cleric. The subclass goals are easy to understand. Clerics are the training wheels of figuring out how features play nicely off of each other, how they can be used in different situations. This is the class to pick to learn how to become a better player. And don't fear, onboarding is fairly light. If you read through the first level features of each of these subclasses without knowing their titles, I'm guessing you could pretty easily suss out where they come from. But Willow, you say. I'm not here to read, I'm here to be entertained. Well, my lord, that's why I'm here, your very own snow globe-sized jester. So let's run through these holy warriors so you— oh god, warriors is a hard word to say. So let's run through these holy waters— oh my god, that's not even— so let's run through these holy warriors so you can pick which one sounds best to you. As always, I will be briefly touching on mechanics if I feel it's relevant. Some of these are not from the most recent rule set, so be aware. Be vigilant. The light domain. Bring light to banish darkness.
We're the light boys.
As a new player, if you're afraid clerics are just about healing, look no further than the light domain subclass. While the life domain subclass— oh boy, this is gonna be hard. While the life domain subclass seems to be a mechanical favorite for its healing capabilities, I'd say the light domain is a great subclass to understand the versatility of the cleric subclass as a whole. That's non-specific game designer speak for you can heal things and also kill things. You get a sort of holy flashbang that improves as you level up, that imposes disadvantage and eventually distributes tasty temp HP. For your final form, you become the glowworm you've always dreamt you'd be. You've always dreamed of being a worm, right? I can't be the only one. Final form Gandalfing over the hill to pass around a ton of disadvantage and allow the rest of your party to start mowing down any opposition. And that's not all. Light domain gets fireball at level 5, the same exact level that wizards get it, which means if you think about it, wizards aren't special. It's a proven fact. We figured it out, everybody go home, wizards aren't special. Vibes-wise, light domain clerics are whatever character you can come up with that would look great bathed in holy light. Sometimes flavored like burning inquisitors of justice, other times steadfast seekers of truth, but always under the bright, watchful steward of whatever extra planar light bright they've decided to draw power from. Is light bright too old of a reference? For you kids that don't know, light bright was kind of like back in the ancient times, during the Stone Age, we had this game called Light Bright, which was basically, it looked like a cheese grater board that had electricity inside of it, and you would take tiny plastic pieces that you could very easily swallow and choke on, and you would put them inside the cheese grater and they would light up. And because they were clear plastic, you could see through them. That's a light bright. That's what clerics worship. This is an incredibly rewarding subclass to take because right out the gate, you feel like you're making a difference. The spell list is healthy, the class fantasy is clear, and it is an excellent choice. In my opinion. Just my little completely correct opinion. Trickery domain. Make mischief and challenge authority. This is the domain. While the light domain clerics are sentinels who pierce deception, the trickery clerics are the exact opposite. The most well-known trickery cleric is probably Jester from Critical Role, and I'd actually be interested to see if there was a massive uptick in trickery clerics after the campaign. But you can also look at characters like Loki, or even if you want a very high-level example, Q from Star Trek. These are the class clowns that are in it purely for the love of the game. They also benefit from being a bit of a subversion of the cleric trope of the armor-clad holy warrior. You can make a lot of fun character choices representing one of the cosmic forces of trickery. Mechanically, trickery domain clerics have one extremely important feature, and that's invoke duplicity. Essentially, you grip your fist real hard and, quote, create a perfect visual illusion of yourself in an unoccupied space you can see within 30 flirty feet of yourself. The illusion is intangible and doesn't occupy its space. Now, this might seem like a nice party trick, but it gives you movement at level 6 and some nice healing and enemy debuff at level 17. The trickery domain hinges on you invoking duplicity to enjoy the full strength of your kit, so if you're thinking about taking the trickery domain, read that feature first. If you like it, great, this is the subclass for you. If you don't like it, well, we've got a couple other options here. The store's not closed. Life domain. Soothe the hurts of the world. I put these out of order that they appear in the player's handbook because light and life are too close. You might say, Willow, what do you mean? They only shared the first 2 letters. And my response is, I may or may not have had a few issues mispronouncing things in my YouTube career. My editor has never had to deal with it. Never, not once. If you want to be the party favorite, if you want everyone in your party to screech like a banshee and panic even if you get a nasty paper cut, hold you above water as they themselves are actively drowning, and just overall be the specialist, most belovedest, darling, dearest of your group, this is the subclass for you. Life domain is the healing subclass of D&D. Removing multiclassing, I can't think of a better subclass for restoring lost HP in combat. Mitigation is another story that we will get to in a moment. This is apparent in every single feature of this subclass. For example, right out the gate you get Disciple of Life, which restores additional hit points on top of a healing spell every time you cast it, no matter what. Your level 17 grants you Supreme Healing, which automatically gives you the highest possible roll when rolling a healing spell result. That is crazy good. And I would argue that Life Domain has by far one of the most crystal clear subclass goals out of the game. Pick this class if you like healing. If you don't like healing and want to play this class, you might be an avoidant attachment, I don't know. But also if you're good at keeping track of where your party members are at with damage. At most tables, a DM isn't going to tell you the HP amount of everyone in your party, so it's up to you to fulfill the role of combat medic and keep engaged during combat by noting down who is getting hit and how hard. Twilight Domain. The darkness can also bring terrors, but the gods of Twilight guard against the horrors of the night. Twilight Princess, the 2006 entry into the Zelda franchise for the GameCube and Wii is— wait, Willow, stop it. Stay focused. Twilight Domain is one of those subclasses that if I didn't include it in this video, I think people would be commenting sternly. However, because this class hasn't been updated to the current rule set yet, I'd give a little caution sign to any newbies here that they should talk it over with their DM before selecting this particular one. Which, hey, you should consider it because Twilight Domain is so much fun, guys. It's a good subclass. This is the sort of cleric's thematic response to the Gloomstalker Ranger we talked about in the last video. Like and subscribe if you haven't seen the last video. I think my call to actions are getting worse. Or whatever, we have fun here, it's fun. As a Twilight Domain cleric, you are a bastion against the horrors of the night while utilizing the power of the very boundary of light and dark. Mechanically, Twilight Domain gets a ton of fun stuff to work with right out the gate. Fairy Fire is always a fun spell to have at lower levels. You basically give everyone in your party military grade night vision, but the real fun feature is your Twilight Sanctuary, granting you and your allies temp HP and respite from charmed or frightened. Now, the temp HP, 1d6, plus your cleric level, is what makes the Twilight Domain absolutely fantastic at mitigating damage. While healing spells will give you a lot more at once, this one comes in a creepy gas cloud of twilight, and also the nature of how the effect triggers makes it something your party will constantly be side-eyeing you to put up. Oh, and you can fly. Yeah, here's the Star Wars meme you ordered, ma'am. They can fly now. I'd be interested to see how they shift this class around in the recent rules because, as I stated, the current layout of cleric seems to be that all of the features need to be extremely extremely unified towards one mechanic. Part of me hopes that it will remain the same, as this is a subclass near and dear to my heart. Play this subclass if you want a more moody-themed cleric that still steals the show at being the teacher's favorite, or if you know your barbarian and paladin just can't help but face tank every ounce of damage that comes their way. War. Domain, it's good for inspire valor and smite foes. While the other clerics were busy in a prayer circle, War Domain clerics were busy painting their Warhammer figurines and reading the art of war. While the other clerics were busy eat, pray, loving across the Forgotten Realms, War Domain clerics were posting on the War Thunder forums, arguing with the Oath of Conquest Paladin about the accuracy of the decals on the A36 fighter plane. And I'm only partially kidding here. War Domain clerics are those that gain power from the terrible sphere of war, either rewarding acts of valor and bravery, or the shuddering acts of violence and destruction. Though lots of folks will claim the Grave Domain Cleric, which we will be talking about shortly, is the creepiest cleric class, I'd argue the War Domain Cleric has the most ammunition to be the grimmest subclass pick of clerics. Spells like Shield of Faith, combined with features like Guided Strike, allows the player to live out the ultimate fantasy of being a battle mage. Just a little bit of survivability and features that don't interfere with all the concentration spells you get in the kit. This is a great pick if you just want to fight. Just really want to put up those dukes. Dukes for your god. If you're used to playing a fighter with a second attack and are a bit nervous about putting your punching hands away, try a War Domain Cleric. Their War Priest feature is built for folks just like you. The drawback of this class, some people feel, is the lack of pizzazz in the features. They're very much geared towards making sure you can still smack someone in combat, while other subclasses turn you into a glowy ghost or an avatar of nature. You just get real tough at level 17 with resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage. But I personally find a lot of elegance in the simplicity of the War Domain Cleric. It's a great fit for a gritty campaign or gritty player that's just playing a true grit. That's a true grit rating. A lot of roughage, a lot of fiber in the War Domain Cleric. Gods of the grave watch over the line between life and death. To these deities, death and the afterlife are a foundational part of the multiverse's workings. To resist death, or to desecrate the dead's rest, is an abomination. Oh, what's that? We have an update for the Grave Domain, including a short snappy line that embodies the class so I don't have to read the original longer description. Gotcha. Embody deific forces of death. The new Ravenloft book has supplied us with an updated version of the Grave Domain Cleric. Yippee! This is super exciting because Grave Domain is absolutely one of the most popular picks for this class. Grave Domain Clerics are the guardians of the natural order of death, meaning they are against undead. Even the little bit of extended life they gain from their magic claims them in the end. Their domain is over death, not in cursing corpses to walk again, but guiding them to a peaceful end. This manifests mechanically with a lot of mitigating damage, I guess. In a continuation of the cringy millennial writing, just stick with me here, or it's all gonna make sense. The level 6 feature is every DM's nightmare, halving the damage of a hit even if it's a critical. Circle of Mortality at level 3 is pretty tasty for extra damage, as well as pointing at your friends and going, "Not today," with Spare the Dying as a bonus action. Grave Domain splits a bit from the player's handbook in that it keeps more of the variation of features, which gives me hope that the Twilight Domain Cleric will be similar. Come back in the future and tell me if I'm wrong. Like and subscribe if you're a time traveler from the future, I guess. I'm getting so much worse at these. All in all, I don't have to convince any of you to take the Grave Domain. It's a flavorful subclass that has incredibly cinematic moments with the split-second damage mitigation and expertise in necromancy. But what do you think of the Grave Domain changes? Let me know in the comments, but I'll only read it if you write it like you're a sequestered monk from medieval times. Tempest Domain. I didn't write down the description for this, but I assume it's something like whoosh, whoosh, here comes the wind. Here's another class you'll have to check in with your DM if you need to update the current rules, but gosh, do I love the Tempest Domain Cleric. Remember Umberly? The Umberly joke I made earlier that none of you laughed at? This is her domain, as with all the other gods and powers over storms, be it on the stormy seas or the thunder and lightning itself. Out of all the cleric subclasses options out there, the Tempest Domain is the top contender for you becoming like the god you worship. If you ever wanted to feel like Thor, go with this subclass. Low level, you'll absolutely feel powerful in up close and personal combat. You're a lightning rod of violence, being able to zap attackers with your level 1 feature, building all the way up to your capstone feature, Stormborn. Dang, what a great name. Which allows you to fly all over the map. Your channel divinity allows you to take the highest damage roll when dealing lightning or thunder damage, and you have a healthy list of stormy spells. You've basically got it all. Something that's a hidden, delightful aspect of this class is positioning. Some of your kit allows you to push enemies, particularly at 6th level, meaning knocking baddies off high ground is a big consideration here. Not necessarily something that you need to do to be effective, but fall damage is no joke, and being able to take combatants out of combat, even if they're knocked down for a bit, is considerable. This is a very solid subclass. Peace Domain. I also forgot to write down the description for this one, but I assume it's something like la la la. The Friendship Bracelet subclass.
And that's why friendship is the best thing ever.
Yes, friendship is great. Must go get friends.
You're all about bonds. This is an older subclass, but one I feel is fantastic because it requires you to think about positioning. The core feature allows you to bond folks in your party, essentially achieving this. Quote, while any bonded creature is within 30 feet of each other, the creature can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw it makes. Unquote. This feature improves as you scale up, so that requires you to give a good think about positioning, and compiled with your Balm of Peace channel divinity, this is the closest you'll get to a Mercy from Overwatch-like character. Flavor town-wise, this is the polar opposite of the War Domain Cleric. The Peace Domain gains power from peace, and while this is technically extremely noble, I think you have to do just a tiny bit more work to make your Cleric interesting. Even though this class is great mechanically, I've noticed players tend to shy away from this one flavor-wise or want to change it around completely. Not to say it isn't powerful. Warding Bond from the spell list combined with Emboldening Bond feature makes your party quite a bit more tanky. Peace Domain Clerics can potentially suffer from Mary Sue syndrome. If you succeeded in making your Peace Cleric stand out, let me know in the comments. And don't be mean, because you can't. Your Peace Cleric would be mad at you. They wouldn't like you if you're being mean to me, so you can't be mean to me. So we have our clerics all in their respective, very respectful holy boxes. You've probably picked one that you'd like to try by now, but I'd like to sweeten the deal. Just a little bit. Well, sweeten the deal with some cyanide. It's me after all, get it? I'm the creepy one in the D&D community. Don't put that in. I'm not the creepy one. I'm the cool one. And it wouldn't be a Willowwares video without a twisted tale to introduce our free item. So sit back, relax, and listen to my story. A dead god is a sad thing, but a forgotten one, that is what we immortals cannot abide. At least if I was dead, my corpse could scatter about the stars, but I am forgotten. Which, to be fair is fair. To be forgotten is within my tiny domain. I never was known enough to have a proper name, but some dear murmurings, shapes of a face somewhat carved in a long-forgotten small shrine tucked away. The closest approximation to something proper might be the goddess of little loneliness. I came into being stories ago, back when people would take a yawning garden gate as a reminder of the emptiness beyond, or the more melancholy, the catch in your throat when footsteps pass by your door on their way to better things, the pang in your chest when a letter goes unanswered, but nothing so terrifying or powerful as war or famine. Small shrines built in my name, doorways draped with fraying paper prayers. But that is all past now. Too many weddings. Now anyone can hang a lantern to light a garden gate. No small moments where you feel alone. And what power is there in loneliness anyways? You, who could choose any god at all. And yet, you are here. And to my delight, you've come alone. So perhaps you are worthy. So I will tell you a little secret. In the end, when you do go, when your mortal body finally fails you, it is just you. The moment you slip into the darkness, every lonely speck of spittle haunting gasp of life is not a dying breath, but a call for my name, a prayer, a cry of devotion. Ah, what loneliness is it to go? What sweet offering. What lies beyond is between them and their gods, but I alone hold dominion over that single moment of divine, tortured solitude. Every shade that passes through me. A dead god cannot hurt you, but a forgotten one, if they are patient, and I am patient. And if you choose me, as so many have, unknowingly or knowingly, I will make it worth your while. And remember, in the end, it's just you. And because it is just you, I'm there too. And hey, we did it! And just for you as a thank you, the Talisman of Little Loneliness for your cleric to be an absolute menace on the battlefield. Feel free to use it at your own risk. And for my lovely patrons, the Mace of Little Loneliness. Thank you for your sibaba, ubabibiba. Thank you all for your support. It means a lot. And I'll see you guys so soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.